Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to share it with us this evening. We are going to present to you our Travel with Carson Floriade 2022, the best of Holland and Belgium. It's a phenomenal itinerary. I think you're going to be really pleased with what you see tonight. My name is Dan Wheeler. I am one of the 4 franchisees that own the Expedia Cruises locations in Kingston, Belleville, and Coburg, and I will be facilitating this tonight, and I'll have my special guest, Carson Arthur, of course, and we have Neil Dudley from Amawaterways. So without further ado, let's get into our presentation. Before we do begin, a little bit of etiquette for a net presentation. We find it's easiest if we mute all of our audience members, or else there will be a lot of background noise. If you have questions, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box that pops up on your screen, and we will review them at the end of the presentation and make sure we answer all of them. If you are having difficulties with this webinar, you can email dbets@expediacruises.com for help, and he will try to contact you, whether it's via email or maybe give you a call and help get things set up for you. And if you need to drop off this presentation, as short as it's going to be, not a problem. We are going to record it, and it will be sent to everyone after the presentation is over sometime tomorrow. So here is our agenda for this evening. We're going to tell you a little bit about Expedia Cruises and specifically our locations and our promise. Then we'll have a chat with Carson and find out what he's gotten himself into and why he's so excited about it. Then Neil will come on and do his presentation on Amawaterways and the cruise with all of the details on each port. And you're going to be amazed at what there is to offer on this beautiful itinerary. We'll go over the pricing, all the bonus inclusions, the special features. We'll talk about special notes, what we can offer you. Then we'll do our call to action and our Q&A session. So about us, well, Expedia Cruises, Belleville, Kingston, and Coburg, those are our 3 centers. Franchise partners are Dale Betts, Aaron Billings, Sandy Ricks, and myself, Dan Wheeler. The Kingston store opened in 2001, Belleville followed 5 years later, and then Coburg in 2010. So we are one phenomenal team spread across the 401, 40 consultants and growing. We just had a new agent sign up on Saturday. We have what we call a stronger together culture in our centers, and we are a President's Circle Gold recognized center, and we're continuing to grow. So our promise, I'm not going to read all of this, but our main elements are, we always make sure that we give advice you can trust at the best possible choice and prices. We offer Expedia extras whenever we can. We are more than just cruise, though. We are a full-service travel agency. We can offer you everything, and we are always there to help before, during, and after your trip. So at this point, I'm going to ask Carson to join me. And for those of you that may not know, Carson's a landscape designer, television personality. He's been on television for 20 years. He is also the host of Take It Outside with Carson Arthur on CJBQ Radio every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. He also owns Carson's Garden and Market right here in Prince Edward County, and he's the author of 2 books, Garden Designs for Outdoor Living and Vegetables, Chicken, and Bees. So Carson, do we have you on the line with us?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay, you got me loud and clear then.
Perfect. Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for taking your time to come with and present with us tonight as well. I wanted to ask you specifically, what attracted you to doing this group, and a little bit about Floriade as well, because you're the expert.
Well, about 10 years ago, I actually had an opportunity to go to Floriade, and I was unable to actually go due to health reasons. So this is something that's been on my radar for a long time. Now, the Chelsea Garden Show in the UK is fantastic. It happens regularly, whereas Floriade is all of Europe. Specifically, all those amazing tulip growers, the bulb cultivators through the Netherlands, through Amsterdam. The Floriade is Europe's chance to basically step it up and say, this is what we do. And it, as you know, happens once every 10 years. So this is quite the event. Coming out of the lockdown and the pandemic, we're already seeing massive signs that this is going to be the biggest landscape presentation in the world that's ever happened. They're already starting to talk about the records that they're planning to set with the amount of flowers, the amount of blooms, the joy and the celebration around this particular event. Now, there are spectacular features, cable cars going over top of the gardens. There are presentations on green living, green environment. There is live music. This is an event. It's a celebration around gardening, which is why I am so excited to be a part of it. A little side note, CityLine has actually asked me to be taping on this trip, specifically at Floriade and at Flanders Field. So this is not just something that I'm excited about, and hopefully you're excited about as well, but it's also something that all of Canada wants to be paying attention to, because as I've said, this is really once in a lifetime. Yes, it happens once every 10 years, but just coming out of the state of where we've been over the last little while, everybody is so looking forward to this moment of escape, this opportunity to just, you know, enjoy travel, enjoy seeing what the world has to offer. And Europe is stepping up with Floriade to show us really what they have to offer in the world of gardening.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm quite excited about it too. It was just a perfect fit when we discovered, you know, Floriade next year and the world was opening up, and we approached you and you said, I've been dreaming of this. So couldn't have worked out better. Now, why we chose this itinerary and this time of year, I think works quite well. I mean, the timing is perfect for Floriade. It's near the very beginning of the whole season. It runs for most of the year, May through October, I believe. But this was a new itinerary, and it's something, and Neil will talk about this, but Alma guests had gone to them and said, we love your tulip time itinerary, but there's so much more throughout the Netherlands and into Brussels or Belgium that we'd like to see. So we presented this to Carson saying, this is a new itinerary. They're just doing it for the first time this year. It will be new to us next year. And it's just a unique product. And he was quite taken by that. Those people who have sailed a lot of Europe's rivers already, they're going to be interested in doing this as well, because they probably have not done this itinerary, because most major cruise lines are not doing it. Great weather that time of year in Europe. And then Carson commented that this is the perfect time for him to come home, and it works for everyone else in regards to spring planting. And you kind of have an idea of what we want to do with that, Carson, right?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I said to Dan and Dale right from the beginning is, if we're going to do this trip, the one thing that we need to offer people is the ability to purchase bulbs and plant material and have somebody there ready to ship it back to Canada for us, so that we can bring all of the excitement back to our own garden. So that was one of the items that I said, this is a must. You can't visit these gardens and then leave all the goodies there. We got to bring some stuff home with us. So that's something that the boys are working on for us.
Well, some people bring back t-shirts. We're going to bring back flower bulbs. I think it's going to be perfect. And yeah, you'll have a Carson-inspired, European-influenced flower garden. You'll be the envy of your neighborhood. And of course, we want to work with Amawaterways because they are an award-winning, family-owned and operated river cruise line. I have dealt with them for years. They are the darling of the industry. I really do love working with this line, and they've just proven it over and over again with everything we ask them. They just say no problem, and they go out and do it for us. So very, very happy to be working with Ama. Of course, on this sailing, we've packed it full of lots of extras with what's called Carson's Choice Shore Excursions. We've got shipboard seminars. We have a mystery event. There's lots of socializing, and our Flanders Field Passchendaele tour, which you will hear more about. Before we go any further, let's talk about the elephant in the room, COVID-19. It is still around. What is the situation and what are our concerns? Well, at this time, we are confident that COVID will not affect our travel plans by the time we go in May of 2022. Expectation of the level 4 being removed shortly is what we're hearing from our suppliers and from all of our insiders. That will be fantastic. That will really open up cruising even more to Canadians. Most of us will have received our second inoculation by August or September of this year, which means we're pretty much good to go anywhere. And cruises operated in Europe last year throughout the whole pandemic, a lot of the European lines. AMA, of course, has stringent procedures and protocols in place, like many of the others, but they were also the only North American-based cruise line, river cruise line, that operated in Europe last season, and they didn't have one single incident of COVID during the entire summer season. And again, I'm sure Neil will touch on that. They would never put any of their guests or their crew in harm's way. So you can be sure that COVID will not be an issue. You will be taken care of, and we will have a fantastic sailing. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Neil and ask him to present. He has a great deck, and he's going to present the whole itinerary for us. So Neil, when you get a chance, you can go ahead and take over.
All right, let me just see. I'm still disabled for screen sharing though, Dan. So if you want to just.
Okay.
But while Dan sets that up, I can actually embellish this a bit more on the COVID protocols and stuff. Now, river cruising versus ocean cruising, very, very different animals, because when you're on a river cruise ship, folks, people say it is the safest form of cruising for a very good reason. We are always operating within the confines of a country. And what that basically means is that we have to adhere to that country's health and safety protocols in order to be able to operate. So as Dan mentioned, we were the only ones in a North American-based one that actually cruised last year from July right through to November, along with 17 other river cruise lines. So there was actually 35,000 passengers that sailed the rivers of Europe last year. And this was well before vaccines were ever around, completely incident-free. So obviously we are very excited because as this little slide might just show you in the bottom, we just announced on Thursday that we are returning to the rivers starting the 5th of July of this year, which means the European Union has cleared the way. Everything is safe over in Europe, and it will start opening country by country, city by city. But we are expecting to be back to full regular cruising by this September. So obviously well ahead of when your cruise is scheduled to go for next year. So there really should not be any sort of issues whatsoever. But as Dan alluded to, yes, we matched all of the things we were able to sail this past season. So the ships are already in place. If there was any need to make any sort of adjustments, you can be assured that we aren't actually allowed to operate within the European Union unless all of these protocols are in place. So it really is the safest form of cruise travel. And the interesting fact is that river cruising used to account worldwide for about 5 to 6% of cruise sales every month. And this is according to CLIA, which is, of course, the organization that monitors all the cruise lines. Well, since the COVID situation has happened and people are realizing how safe river cruising is, we actually are accounting for between 27 and 32% of sales every month. And that's been going on for the last year. So people really do recognize this. It is a great way to travel. And of course, it is a much more intimate traveling experience. So we were very excited when Dan reached out and came to me with this idea, because it really is a great itinerary. So of course, this will be the cruise in May of next year. And my job tonight is to go through each and every one of these beautiful ports of call that we stop in. Now, this is a very unique itinerary, and it is a new one for us. And it was really because guests had requested us to say, listen, we love the Netherlands, we love Belgium, but we'd like to see more of these as opposed to a few days, or maybe just going for the tulip time season, because there's a lot of the Netherlands and Belgium which you don't get to see. The Netherlands and the Belgium have multiple rivers that actually flow through these countries. And for the most part, guests, when they do a Rhine river cruise, they're going from Amsterdam, making their way down the Rhine River towards the Swiss port city of Basel. Well, this is going to allow you to go on 5 different rivers, very unique experiences, and all sorts of different cities and such. So this is the actual itinerary that you see here. It's a 7-night journey, round trip out of Amsterdam, but we've also incorporated the 2 nights at the beginning in Amsterdam, which is an absolute stunning city. Now, our owner, Rudy, he's not just one of our owners, but he's actually the architect and designer of every single one of our ships. It's been his lifelong dream to always be involved in river cruising. And in our industry, he's referred to as the godfather of river cruising, because he's always looking to see what new and innovative things he can do in his itineraries, in his ships. And yes, the minute we heard about Floriade, of course, it is the world's largest horticultural event. It only happens every 10 years. We were the first river cruise line to decide, well, this has to be one of our tours that we include automatically. And with our pre-package in Amsterdam, there is an actual opportunity. If you'd like to go to Floriade more than just the one day that's included, you can actually do that. And I will go into this as we go through the itinerary, but it is something important to note because it is going to be a huge event. As Carson has mentioned, over 45 exhibitors are actually signed up to do Floriade, which is the most ever. It's very exciting. They're all very, very excited about the whole exposition that is happening. So the itinerary itself is going to start with 2 nights in Amsterdam, and we'll be staying at the Barbazon Palace Hotel. This is a 5-star hotel right in the heart of Amsterdam. And this is pictures of the hotel. You can see in the top right-hand corner, all the rooms have beautiful canal views, and it's great. So you get really a great chance to see this because Amsterdam is a city of canals. all meandering throughout this entire city. It's a great way to see and explore the area. And the picture in the top left-hand corner, you can kind of see there's all sorts of cafes and such that are right in front of your beautiful hotel as well. And you are in the heart of Amsterdam. So it is truly walking distance to absolutely everything to see. And there is a ton of things to see during the day, just as much to see in the evening as well. This is one of the cafes that literally is outside the front doors of your hotel. So great areas to relax with those beautiful canal views. Now, these are some of the highlights of Amsterdam. I can tell you, obviously we know we're going to talk about all the sort of flowers and fauna, all those kind of things that are in the area, but the Netherlands is an amazing area for gastronomy as well. Some very unique foods, unique experiences for you to have, including an incredible array of cheeses, which I can guarantee you will have never seen these cheeses over here in Canada. And yes, you are able to bring these cheeses back to Canada. They'll tell you all the ones that have set up. You can sample everything. It is an incredible experience. And this is about a 4-minute walk from your hotel. So definitely get a chance to go off and experience. The picture in the bottom left-hand corner is something you only find in the Netherlands. It is a fast food waffle machine and everything under the sun you could possibly ever want. Again, you'll see these all over the place. Definitely go and get a chance to experience these. There's a lot of things you only see in the Netherlands as well. So lots of great food options and stuff. And please remember, of course, when you are doing your package with us, of course, there will be a cruise manager available so they can guide you through all the different experiences that there are in Amsterdam. Now, part of the pre-package in Amsterdam is a walking tour of the city of Amsterdam, but this is also the opportunity, if you would like to go see Floriade on a second time, would be the perfect day to do this as well. Now, the walking tour, it's a half-day tour, generally in the morning, means you have the afternoon free to either wander around, or if you really want to be immersed with the Floriade experience, again, the Expedia team can certainly make arrangements for that for you as well. So like I said, you've got a couple of nights, all sorts of great highlights like the Van Gogh Museum. This is their city hall that you're seeing here. So lots of great things that you can see on the walking tour. But of course, the Floriade Expo is going to be the highlight of your stay up into this region. Now, just outside of Amsterdam, where this is being hosted, of course, was a perfect pick because, of course, 80% of the world's flower bulbs are produced in the Netherlands. So you get an opportunity to see this at Floriade. You're going to also still get an opportunity to see this in some of the other parts that we go to throughout the Netherlands as well. All sorts of different varieties and such throughout the areas. So really is going to be an incredible enhancement to your river cruise. Now, this is just a little slide to show you that we've got 25 ships in our fleet. They are a fleet of sister ships, meaning that you don't have to worry about when the ship was built or which features exist on which ship. They all have the same features. Now, you are scheduled to be on the Amawaterways. So again, beautiful experience. You've got the rooftop pools, all sorts of great things. But just so you know, if there was, for any reason, that there had to be a last-minute schedule change, it really doesn't matter, folks, because all of our ships have the same features. So, but you are scheduled to be on the Amawaterways. Now, a few things about our ships before I get into the itinerary. Very innovative style company. When Rudy and Christine started to dream up the idea for Amawaterways, they wanted to bring some things that never existed to the world of river cruising before. And the first was to bring the outdoor balcony feature over to the world of river cruising. Now, of course, our lovely ocean cruising cousins have been doing this for years and years, but over on a river cruise, there's always something to see day or night. And the cities of Europe are all lit up like Christmas trees throughout the entire year. So really, we want to bring this beautiful balcony experience, but we also want to perfect the balcony experience because we know that we can't control the weather. Could be a bit cooler one night. It could be raining and such. So we invented what we call the signature twin balcony suites. The picture in the top left-hand corner shows you the indoor French balcony. It's got French balcony doors, table, 2 chairs, so that no matter what the weather, no matter what the temperature, you're always able to enjoy that beautiful balcony experience. Now, there are 3 levels of accommodation on all of our ships. You've got the picture window staterooms, the French balcony suites, right up to our signature twin balcony suites. And in every cabin type, you've got the iMac entertainment system, music, movies, TV channels, and Wi-Fi is complimentary throughout your entire cruise, no matter what device you decide to bring. And if you don't want to bring your laptops, you don't have to because you have access to the internet through the iMac entertainment system. Now, of course, we've got multiple lounges for you to relax in. We've got our main lounge. This is the main hub of activity. This is where the cruise manager gives his or her port talks. This is where our local entertainment happens. So when we are cruising in the evening, we bring on locally themed entertainment. And then afterwards, we've got our onboard musician play music into the later hours as well. We've also got our smaller library lounge, fireplace, some books to read if you want a quieter area to relax, as well as our 24-hour cafe and lounge. Coffee, tea, espresso, complimentary whenever you would like. Plus, we serve tapas complimentary throughout the day in each and every one of our lounges for you to enjoy as well. Now, speaking of food on board, this pairs up very nicely with your river cruise experience. It is something we are definitely renowned for. Now, the picture in the top left-hand corner, that's our main dining room. Has 170 seats in there, but we've only got 156 guests on board. What that means, it's open seating. Come and dine whenever, wherever you like. Tables of 2, 4, 6, or 8 for you to enjoy. We've also got our private wine room, so a bit more of an intimate dining experience if you would like that as well. And the chef's table at the back of the ship. Seats about 28 guests, and it's a totally different menu than what you find in the main restaurant. And we make sure everybody gets a chance to dine in here at least once during their journey, because we won't take a second reservation from guests until everybody else has made their first reservation. However, there is a number of benefits to booking on special groups such as the Travel with Carson promotion that we've got, in that the Expedia office will actually be able to pre-book you in groups into the chef's table ahead of time. So that is a big advantage. You don't have to worry about doing that on board. And food is always reflective of the area we are traveling through. And the way that we're able to do this is that the chefs actually go out into the market every day. They shop locally for ingredients. And this is recognized by Chaîne de Rôtisseurs, which is the oldest gastronomic society in the world, invitation only, and it's based on a restaurant, food, wine, and service. And we are the only river cruise line to have ever been invited to be members of Chaîne de Rôtisseurs. Now, other onboard services you're going to enjoy, of course, if you're the kind of cruiser who likes to get a massage or get your hair done, there are those services available on board. We've got a fitness center on every single one of our ships, and we are the only river cruise line to have a full-time wellness host on every single one of our ships, offering complimentary classes should you wish to enjoy, yoga class, stretching, things like that, even one-on-one sessions. And we've got about 20 or 25 bikes free of charge for you to take out in any port of call, should you wish to do so. And we also have guided cycling tours on every single one of our river cruises. And of course, in the Netherlands and Belgium, there'll be multiple opportunities to take the bikes out or go on a guided cycling experience. This is definitely the most popular form of travel in both of these countries. But probably the most popular area to relax are the rooftop heated pools we have on each and every one of our ships. Now, if you've never been on a river cruise before, maybe you've only done an ocean cruise, this is something very different to the ocean cruising experience. A cruise manager might tell you about an amazing vintage of wine or a specialty liqueur that's only available in that next port of call. Folks, you can purchase that, bring it back on board, enjoy it wherever you like, including up at the pool. It is not a problem. In your cabins, you'll find glassware, corkscrews, ice buckets, all sorts of things. And there's even a bartender up there, of course, to take care of your every need as well. So lots of great services for you to enjoy. And one of the questions I often get asked about the pool is, when is it open? It's open 24/7 the entire time that we are cruising. So you'll be able to enjoy that whenever you like. Now, some of our other onboard enhancements that we've done over the years, our sip and sail program. Well, drinks are always included with all of your meals, unlimited beer, wine, and soft drinks. But in 2018, we introduced our sip and sail program. Now, that was because guests would go off on their included sightseeing tour. Now, every single day, there's an included sightseeing tour. In some of the larger cities and towns, there's actually going to be choices of different tours. And we put no more than 15 guests per tour guide. But what we were finding is that guests would come back from their included sightseeing excursion in middle to late part of the afternoon. They'd go down to their cabin, start getting ready for the cruise manager's port talk. And that's when about 80% of the guests were actually purchasing a drink from the bar. So in 2018, we decided to include these as well. We call it our sip and sail program, but essentially it's a happy hour. It's unlimited beverages, whether these are alcoholic or non-alcoholic, leading right up until dinner begins. But my favorite enhancement we've made over the last couple of years has got to be the Oma Cruise App. We brought this out in 2019 on every single one of our ships, and it's got all sorts of great information for you before, during, and after your river cruise experience. Now, of course, beforehand, all sorts of information on the cruise, on the ship you're going on, things like that. But my favorite part of this app is the photo taking capability. Now, I will assume each and every one of you listening tonight has been on a guided tour at some stage in your life. That means you've listened to a tour guide take you around an area, tell you all about those beautiful sights that you're seeing. And of course, you take picture upon picture upon picture to remember all of these beautiful sights. And you get back home after your 1 or your 2-week vacation and you start looking back through your hundreds and hundreds of pictures. And you look back through some of these going, I have absolutely no idea what that is, let alone why I took a picture of this thing. Well, folks, if you take all of your pictures now through the My Oma Cruise app, all of the notes that the tour guide gave you on that day can automatically be linked to the pictures you took that day, form into your own digital photo album for you to look at for years and years and remember every part of your Amawaterways river cruise experience, and even more for 2022, because of course, this cruise includes Floriade. All the history and information about Floriade will also be in there for you to remember as well. Now, moving into the cruise, of course, you've done your 2 days in Amsterdam. We've gone through the ship, which you're just about to board. Now, as you board the ship, you are overnighting in Amsterdam as well on your first night. Now, the next day, we are setting sail, but before we set sail, we're actually taking you on a guided canal cruise around the city of Amsterdam. So you really get the best opportunity to see the city when you do the walking tour, if you've done the pre-package, as well as seeing the city via the canals, because there's a number of things that you can only see off of the canal. So that is your half-day tour on day 2 when you're sailing out. And then you have an afternoon sail away out of Amsterdam, and it's an absolute stunning sail away experience out of the city of Amsterdam. You really feel like you're in a beautiful city with all the old canals and streets and such. And then you wander out and you see these gigantic ships that are no more than 10 minutes away in the ports where they have to dock in. So of course, you're going to sail out. And the next morning, we are arriving into Utrecht. Now, Utrecht is actually one of the oldest cities in the Netherlands, dating back to the 8th century. It's a medieval old town, lots of canals, of course, around this area, some beautiful Gothic cathedrals. And yes, that is, of course, one of the sightseeing tour options. You can take the guided sightseeing tour experience in and around Utrecht. But my recommendation, folks, is that you go off to Castle de Haar. And this is one of these things that we've never had a chance to take a cruise to before. And it is an absolute stunning castle, one of the absolute best in all of Europe. So yes, don't just think the castles exist down on the Rhine or the Danube. This is an absolute stunning one based on Rapunzel. The Disney movie was based on this castle itself. And as you can see, award-winning grounds all around this castle year-round. So absolutely stunning to go see. So that would be my recommendation. You've got a choice of the different tours, of course. The cruise manager will tell you about all these tours when you're on board, whether it's a half day, full day, relaxed pace, more active. You can choose whatever you'd like, but remember, we're docked in Utrecht, and you'll always have an opportunity to go off and explore this, whereas the Castle de Haar is a coach tour. So this would be my recommendation definitely for that day. Now, in a lot of these ports of calls, we are there late at night because it's not a great deal of distance to sail. But the next day, we're actually doing a half morning cruise tour before we actually dock in Vier. And the reason for this is because you're going to actually be taken through the Delta Works. Now, the Dutch are known as engineering marvels because it is 26% of the Netherlands is actually below sea level. So how did they do this? They reclaimed the land through these incredible Delta Works that they've got in here. So we actually take you through the area, tell you all about the history of the Delta Works and how it really is there that the Netherlands thrives. And it's because of this reclaimed land on land that was below sea level that they have become the world's largest exporter of all the bulbs. It really does a lot for their soils and the nutrients into the area as well. And it's interesting too, 26% of the Netherlands is actually technically under sea level. 60% of their population lives in this 26% of reclaimed land. So really interesting that you get to see this. And of course, then we are docked in Vier, and there will again be a couple of sightseeing tours that you can choose from. Again, you can do a guided sightseeing tour through the fishing village of Vier. Beautiful little area, of course, that you're seeing there. Lots of history into the area as well. And actually, Roosevelt's family has a connection to this area as well. Or you can actually take a guided cycling tour from Vier down to the medieval town of Middelburg and come back. So a great opportunity for you to see another area in the Netherlands. It's a very, very easy bike ride too. So do not be thrown off by this. Very, very flat ground all the way through. course, then the next day, we are going to do a late night sail away, and you're going to be leaving the Netherlands. And this is when you're going to arrive off into Belgium. Now, the first stop that we are doing is in the city of Ghent. And there's a number of different excursions into Ghent, but we're very excited because this allows you to go off to what we consider the most romantic city in the northern part of Europe. And this is off into Bruges. Again, you're going to see a lot of similarities between Belgium and the Netherlands. A lot of the cities here, again, are all with canals focusing in and around. You can do a full day tour off to Bruges. It's a beautiful medieval city in the heart of Belgium. You get to see a lot of the different highlights, like the Church of Our Lady, of course. One of Michelangelo's Madonna is in the city of Bruges. Into the area of this as well. There's a couple of different tours as well, just so you are aware. And our cruise managers will go through this as to whether you want to do the full day tour, maybe do a half day tour and wander around some of Ghent on your own. So again, all sorts of options. And again, you don't have to worry about pre-booking or deciding what you want to do ahead of time. The cruise manager does a presentation when you're on board, lets you know whether it's a half day, full day. And remember as well, with our tours, you can do a regular tour. If any of you have any sort of mobility issues, there's always a relaxed pace tour going. And if any of you want to be more active, there's always an active-based tour that you can do as well. So you're there in Ghent for a full day. It's a late night sail away. And it's the next day that we are ending up into Brussels, of course, the capital of Belgium. And again, a number of different touring options for you to do on this day. Of course, the guided sightseeing tour of Brussels. But do remember, all of these highlights, of course, you are docked in the heart of Brussels. You will have an opportunity to wander around and see some of these things. Of course, a number of significant moments in the world wars happened in Belgium. So one of the tours that we offer normally is Battle of the Bulge. This is a historical battle up into the area. There's also a tastings tour, some beautiful tastings, but don't worry, there's another tastings tour that comes along up in Antwerp. Beersel Castle. So there's a number of options that were already included in Brussels, but because Brussels, like I said, we're docked there, a lot of these things it's very easy for you to see and do, which is why there's a great highlight tour, which of course the Expedia team and Carson have come up with, and that is to do a private Passchendaele tour just for the group that is booking on to this cruise. Now, there are a number of incredible sites of great historical significance, of course, to the Canadians. So the tour that's we are putting together, and there's still some more details to come on this, will be happening the day that you are in Brussels. It's going to take you off to the Flanders Fields Museum, Menin Gate, of course, the John McCrae site, the Brooding Soldier, which you can kind of see in the bottom right-hand corner for Canada, of course, the Passchendaele area as well. So very exciting tour. It will only be offered to guests who are on this particular group. So keep that in mind. But it's definitely going to be one of the highlights as you are focusing into the Belgium area. So of course, we again will have a late night sail out of Brussels. So again, like I said, you can do the private Passchendaele tour that's being put together and still get an opportunity to explore Brussels when you get back as well. The next day, you are ending up into our third stop in Belgium, and it's Antwerp. And Antwerp is actually known as the City of Diamonds, the largest diamond producing area in the world. So it is an incredible fact. A lot of people don't really realize this. World UNESCO listed heritage site, a number of great things to see in the area. And yes, you will have a guided sightseeing tour as one of your options if you'd like to explore Antwerp. Or I mentioned the tastings tour in Brussels. There's also a tastings tour in Antwerp. And it is a very popular one because let me tell you that they are the second biggest beer producer behind the Netherlands, and they are also the world's largest chocolate producers. So, and it's some incredible flavors of chocolate that you will never see anywhere outside of here. So really incredible. If you want to go off and do the tastings tour, like I said, you'll always have an opportunity to go off and see the cities because we are docked there for extended periods. So, and then the next day we're heading back into the Netherlands, and this is after our late night sail away, our overnight experience, ending up into Dordrecht. And Dordrecht is actually the oldest city in the Netherlands. It was established in 1220. All sorts of things that have happened over the centuries through Dordrecht as well. But again, remember, you are docked here because it's a beautiful city, very small, very easy to wander around from where we are docked, because the other opportunity is to go off to Rotterdam. And I highly recommend this because Rotterdam and Amsterdam are the two biggest cities in the Netherlands. Amsterdam is a very traditional looking city. Rotterdam is the complete antithesis. It is a very modern city. It is incredible to see how these two cities are going. I love this shot. Those cubes in behind are condo buildings, folks. It is just the kind of architecture that you get to see in Rotterdam, and it is connected to the Rotterdam Market Hall. Absolute stunning sculptures with all sorts of great food and things like that. So this would be my recommendation because, like I said, you'll get back from your full day tour of Rotterdam and you still have time to see Dordrecht as well. And part of the tour taking you over to Rotterdam takes you off to the Delfshaven region. And if you are familiar with that term or you recognize that term, that is where the famous blue and white pottery comes from that the Netherlands is known for. So we're going to take you through Delfshaven to see where the pottery comes from as well. And then, of course, we are going to take you off. No trip to the Netherlands would be complete without going to see the windmills. World UNESCO listed heritage site, of course, known as the Kinderdijk region. More windmills here than anywhere else in the Netherlands. You get a chance to go off and see this. And Floriade is a perfect pairing for the Netherlands because they are probably the most advanced green country in the entire world. In fact, by 2028, I believe, there will no longer be the sale of gas automobiles in the entire country. They will only be selling electric cars. Biking, they actually have more bikes than they have cars in the Netherlands anyways. So yes, there's a cycling tour that you can do. But again, just to show their green power, we'll actually be taking you over to these windmills from our area on an electric boat as well. So you really get a chance to experience how they are very green in nature in the entire Netherlands as well. So, and then of course you circle back afterwards, you end up we overnight sail back to Amsterdam and you'll be disembarking the ship and flying out from there. So very easy, of course, as far as flights go, because it's just a round trip in and out of Amsterdam. Now, if there's any of you who are savvy river cruisers, you might ask the question going, well, are there ever any water level issues, such as I've heard in the past years, that can happen on rivers over in Europe? Well, like I said, those Dutch are mechanical masterminds, because they control all the waters that come into the Netherlands and Belgium. There is never any issues with high or low water because they have full control over all of the systems into these areas. So definitely not an area to ever have to be concerned about. And it is the best area if you want to do cycling. Even if you haven't been on a bike in 20 years, it is the easiest place to pull out a bike and do it again. Folks, I would always rather myself be taken in some sort of lovely limousine. I am not a cyclist by any means, but I have cycled in each and every one of these countries on these river cruises because it truly is a way of life in Europe, and incredible just to really add that to your whole experience as well. So, of course, all the information, if you have not already seen it yet, is in the lovely e-brochure that the Expedia team has put together. All of the portions of the itinerary, all the extras that Carson is going to bring along with the pricing and, of course, the your early booking bonuses. But on that stage, I get to hand it back to Dan because he's going to tell you all about the pricing, the promos, and everything else, and why you want to go. But of course, if you've got any questions on the river cruise portion itself, I can take those now, or we can save those to the end. I will let Dan decide, but I am going to stop sharing my screen. So Dan, you can take back over. So,
okay, thank you very much. Let me see if I can pull this back up. Could be a challenge. Can you see my screen at the moment?
Nope.
All right. It's saying it's disabled. Neil, you may have to assign me as host on your side.
Okay, hang on. There we go. Try that now.
Love the challenge of these things. I think we are good to go. There we go. Are we back?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. I've seen this presentation 3 times. We did some training. We've done some other things. Every time I pick up something new and I'm just so excited about it. There's just so many things to see and do there. Carson, I think
I thought you were going to say you're getting bored of me, but that's good.
No, not at all. Carson, I think this is the first time that you've sort of seen this presentation in detail. You knew where you were going, but now you've seen such detail. What do you think?
I'm not going to lie. When Neil started talking about the Flanders Field and the exclusive behind or tour group, I got goosebumps. I got absolute goosebumps. And I love Neil's picture of the little cherub peeing in the fountain because I know exactly who took that picture or who that picture was taken of. This guy right here.
And that's
I'm going to
Kevin.
be onboard entertainment for you all. And I'm going to tell you everything you want to know about Carson. Trust me.
Are you
I'm
gonna-
drinking.
Are you going to be the brunt of his jokes, Kevin?
The other way around.
Ah, okay. Well, that's good to know. This is Kevin Lockwood. This is Carson's husband, and he is going to be joining us on this fantastic trip. So you have two phenomenal hosts to take care of you and socialize with you and entertain you. Trust me, they are very entertaining. All right, let's continue on. I want to do a little recap of the itinerary. Just, you've seen the full cruise itinerary, but we are going to be obviously departing here on Saturday the 14th. It's an overnight flight to Amsterdam, and we are looking at getting group air with Ama. Airlines don't put out their pricing and their availabilities till about 330 days in advance. So by the end of June, early July, we should be able to get a group rate, and Ama's going to work out a phenomenal deal for us for group air. If you were traveling with us over on the 14th and back on the 24th, you can take advantage. If you want to go over earlier or stay later, that is a possibility of still taking group air on one flight and deviating on the other. Those details will come in the next month or so. If you want to do something completely separate, we can help you with that. You can do whatever you like. We're there to help you with that. If we have enough people from sort of this corridor, the Kingston, Belleville, Coburg corridor, we are looking at putting on a motor coach to Toronto. We will get the best possible rate we can. It won't be much more of an add-on, and we're going to offer it to everybody so that we can all go down together. Your vacation starts as soon as you board that motor coach. Take care of everything for you down and back to Pearson. You know, of course, we're doing 2 nights in Amsterdam. We're doing the 7-night cruise. The Flanders Field Passchendaele day trip is an optional excursion. It's not one that is offered by AMA. So we are putting it on, and we're having them contract a motor coach and prepay for everything at the museums in advance. So there is a cost to that. It's not going to be super expensive. We're finalizing it now, but it's definitely a must. The exporter of the flower bulbs that Carson talked about, we are confirming that with Floriade now, trying to get that facilitated so that Carson can show you all the things that you should have and give you his recommendations and help you out with that. He'll be your personal shopper. I just volunteered you, Carson. And at that point, we'll have them all shipped back to Canada, and we'll actually figure out how we're going to do that and get them to you at that point to save everybody some time and effort. And then, of course, we have the day flight back on the 24th, motor coach to bring us home. The bonus inclusions and features, of course, you have Carson as your celebrity host, and you have Kevin as his full support. And you also have your Expedia Cruise Tour managers, which will be myself and Dale, who is my partner. We will be attending this with you. And I have been in this industry for 36 years, and I have actually hosted group tours before. So I'm very comfortable with this, and I'm quite excited about showing everybody what we have to offer. Your onboard gratuities are included in this cruise, your dining room staff and your stateroom staff as well. Carson is going to do some inspiring sessions on the ship. And Carson, I'm going to let you address that now and just talk about what you're thinking of doing, if you don't mind.
Well, given that a lot of what we're going to be seeing throughout this trip is a lot about environmentally friendly options, I'm going to be doing one presentation specifically on how we can make better outdoor choices in our gardens and our homes here in North America when we come back, based on how inspiring it is over in Europe. And then we also have, for our first people who are booking, an opportunity to sit down with me one-on-one. And we'll be doing this during the happy hour times, where you actually can talk to me about your home and your space and get free consultation from me about ideas and thoughts as to what we can do for your home going forward as well.
I think that's brilliant. That's such a great idea. We talked earlier about Carson's choice shore excursion option. So we're going to work closely with Neil. He also has some great recommendations. We'll talk to Carson and Kevin about what they think, and then we'll let you know in advance. These are the ones that Carson and Kevin will be doing, and you are more than welcome to join them and spend the day with them, or go and do your own thing. But we're going to let you know what his choice will be. He's there to be with you and socialize with you. He's excited about having you on the trip as you are with him. We do have a mystery bonus event as well, and it's going to be a group outing, and we're not going to tell you about it yet, but it's going to be fun and exciting. I think it will be a bit of a highlight of the trip. Neil talked about the chef's table, and we have private dining there. Because we are a group, we are going to have the entire restaurant taken over for ourselves. So I think that will be a wonderful, wonderful event. We're going to do a farewell get together as well for everybody. So I think that will be a fun thing to do and talk about what we've done for the week and the memories that we've created. One thing I want to point out, when you book a cruise with an Expedia Cruises franchise, you earn double Expedia rewards points. So if you're not already a member of Expedia Rewards, we'll get you signed up. You want to get double points for the value of this vacation. And if we do any add-on product, like your air, or if you do optional tours or whatever, you'll get double points on all of that product. As Carson mentioned, that special bonus, the first 15 people to actually book and deposit on this group will be eligible for a private consultation with Carson on the ship. Take pictures on your iPad of your property, bring it to him on the ship, and he'll sit down, have a drink with you, and talk about, give you his recommendations. So that, I think that's special and pretty unique. If you haven't seen our digital brochure, here is a sample of the deck plan on the ship, and we have stateroom allocation in quite a few different categories. I mean, there's only, I believe, 86 staterooms on the entire ship, if I'm not mistaken, Neil, or very close to that. So they're going to fill up fast. They're small ships. They have to fit in the canals. But we have a bit of staterooms in each category. We've already sold a fair number, but we want to be able to have something to offer everybody. So get in touch with us and let us know what you're looking at. We'll explain the difference between the staterooms. Here is the pricing, again, in case you have not seen it in the digital brochure. We have an inclusive price. So this is not including airfare. This is cruise only, because we have people that listen to Carson and watch the show from New York State all the way through to Newfoundland. We had a call on our first day out from Newfoundland. So we don't include air. That is optional, but the port taxes are covered in this. This is our early booking rate for a lead-in category, or category E, which is what they call the fixed window or the swan view along the river. 5436 is our early booking program, and you can see the total savings off of brochure rate. From there, you look at every other category. And again, this is all in our digital brochure. So if you really want to review it in detail, you can find the stateroom that fits for you, where you want to be. There are different sizes, different square footage, as you can see, and you can see the savings that you get as well. This early booking rate is in effect until June the 2nd. So we're really hoping people take advantage. Why pay more? Grab it now and be confirmed at a great rate. Moving on, let's take a look at a few important notes, then we'll wrap this up. As I mentioned, those rates expire June 2nd. The deposit is 10%. Your consultant will be able to tell you exactly the amount required for each cabin category. There is a second deposit due in mid-November, and the final payment is due around the very end of December. So a nice Christmas present to yourself. You can save 3% on this if you want to pay your entire trip by cash, check, or money order. If you do that, we need to get the payments in about 2 weeks in advance, because we have to make sure check's clear, and we have to actually send a check to California, to Alma's head office. So speak to us about that. The other thing we can offer, as mentioned, is the complete vacation. If you want to go early or stay late, our consultants can help you find the best of the best and do that for you. They can do it by a phone or a Zoom consultation if you like. The double rewards I mentioned, but here's something else. A lot of people don't realize this. If you have a Travel Rewards branded credit card, RBC, TD, whatever it may be, you don't have to deal with their reward center to use your points. You can book your own things direct. You can deal with your favorite travel consultant, and it'll be taken care of. All you do is make the reservation with us, then you contact the Travel Reward Center of your reward credit card and tell them to move the points over to cover the deposit, the full payment, depending on how many rewards you have. So let the credit card companies, banks, pay for this vacation, this dream trip of a lifetime. Bonus offer. Anybody who books and refers someone else who books, we will give you an extra $200 credit on your trip. So talk to your friends and family about this. Tell them what a great opportunity it is. This doesn't come along that often, and get them to sign up. You'll get a bonus credit, and you'll all have a great time. Final call to action. Review this presentation. Think about the past year. You deserve this trip. Get in before the space and the rates disappear and change. Email your consultant if you've already been in touch with someone through our office, for those of you that have previously reached out to us. Or if this is your first time hearing about this, you will be receiving an email after the presentation. It'll go tomorrow morning, I believe, with a recording of this, but also the link to the brochure and a link to our online registration form. Fill that in. We'll assign a consultant to you to answer all your questions and help you if you're ready to make a booking. We'll go over your passports to make sure nothing's amiss there. We'll talk to you about medical and cancellation insurance, which is so important. It's important to us that you are protected. And all of our participants will be invited to our private Travel with Carson Facebook group, where we'll share more and more about the trip as it goes and build up the camaraderie. And you will become the first alumni and enjoy future benefits on hopefully what is going to be a recurring event with Carson and Kevin taking people away on amazing vacations. Carson, would you like to add anything before we go to Q&A on this?
Again, I mean, we keep going back to this idea that it's a trip of a lifetime. It really, really is. And I am so excited to be sharing this with so many people already. And hopefully the people online who are kind of sitting on the fence, this is not one of those ones where you want to see my posts afterwards and go, oh, I wish we had gone to that. Because this trip isn't happening ever again. This is a one and done kind of deal. So if you're really considering it, make sure you sign up quick, take advantage of those early booking rates and go for it. It's going to be very, very special.
Awesome. So Neil, I do have a question for you. Hanya has posted on our Q&A session. She's asked, do you give out city maps of each city we dock at with highlights of the city itself? Or is that
yes,
on the Ama app?
Yeah, we do give out maps, but it is obviously going away more and more because the My Oma Cruise app has full detailed maps highlighted with all the areas already with notes inside. So it's already in the app. And remember the app, you do not need to have a mobile data because once you're in that city, you've already got the area. So it can work offline as well. So all that's available if you want to do it on your tablet or your phone. You just download the app beforehand. But otherwise, yes, there are still the old traditional style maps for every city in town that we stop in as well.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you for that. Does anybody else have any other questions? Please feel free to type them, or you could even raise your hand, and I think I can actually open up your microphone at that point. I know we've given you a lot of information tonight, a lot of things to think about, but I'm just so glad that we had Neil on to be able to give us the day-by-day itinerary. If you think of something later as far as questions go, please feel free to reach out and contact us. We can definitely contact you either by phone or by email, and willing to answer your questions and help you out with whatever you're not sure of. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that that's it. I would say that the crowd has settled down. Their drinks must have kicked in. They must be done for the evening. Oh, it looks like we may have one other question. Oh, no, I think that was one from before. Oh, do you serve special meals on each city we dock for lunch and dinner?
Sorry, I missed it. What kind of meals?
Any special meals that are served in each of the places we dock at?
So again, there always is something, the menu's always highlighted to that area. So you're going to see like Dutch specialties on the evening and lunch menus, as well as Belgian ones and stuff like that. And they actually try to change it up because even the countries have different regional specialties. So yeah, you'll see that there's always a standard international selection of meals, plus your local specialties as well. So.
Right. That's one thing that I learned in some of our trainings that we've done, is the difference between Alma and some of the other river cruise lines when they travel down through different parts of Europe, is that instead of having the same wine that's included at that lunch and dinner every day throughout the day, Alma actually changes their wine list based on the territory and the regions that they're going through. And not all of the cruise lines do that. That's another reason that we picked Alma. They are up there as a 5-star cruise line. Okay, well, I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us this evening. Carson and Kevin, thank you. Neil, appreciate it as always. And we will be in touch very shortly and hope to hear from you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.